Oh, hell yeah, I just got this new graphics card. I can't wait to install it. I'm gonna play so many games on this thing. Okay, let's see here. I think I know what to do. Oh, wait. Wait. No. No way! No way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way!
And you do nothing? Give it to me! And I'll...
That was amazing. Oh my god, a brand new Monster Hunter game. I just got a new graphics card. I can't wait to play it. This is gonna be amazing. The boys are gonna be able to play with me. Wait, huh? No, that seems wrong. Wait, is that right? Let me take you back to the early 2000s. Back in 1994, a guy called Chris Sawyer made a game called RollerCoaster Tycoon. This game was programmed 99% in assembly language. Do you know what that is? It was so he could have as many people play the game as physically possible. Nowadays, you see every single game come out have to have some sort of extreme, overclocked, high-end build, or some crazy specification for your recommended specs to hit 1080p high.
Computers, bunch of fucking wires, sound pads.
Now, I might as well kick this off with the whole reason I made this video. I, as seen in the intro, saw the new Monster Hunter. I thought, oh my god, a new Monster Hunter. I love the game, I love the franchise, I've made a video on it previously. The game is incredible. I couldn't fault it if I wanted to, just because I'm so biased towards it. I'll basically give it the benefit of the doubt in every scenario. Apart from this one case. So if you've seen in the intro, the recommended specs shows 1080p high, 60 FPS. You require an RTX 4060. Now, when I made this channel 5 years ago, I had this spec. This wasn't the best, okay? It really kind of just got me through. I had it since college and through uni, and really it was the spec I had till second year when I decided to finally upgrade. And yeah, I used to take 4 hours to wait for a video to render because I had an i7 2600K. So yeah, let's just say it wasn't great. But something I never ran into was not being able to run games, or not having a problem with the performance of games. RTX 4060, that's where you need to play Monster Hunter 1080p, medium settings, 60 frames per second, with frame generation enabled. Not even just 1080p medium, you need frame gen. Okay, so take this all with a pinch of salt, because I'm already going to run, and one, I'm not a game developer, so I don't know how long and how difficult it is to make games. But the thing is, I'm not blaming the devs here. The devs are incredible, and I know they can make a great game. All the gameplay footage we've seen so far has been all created and looks like it's been done on a PS5. And to be honest, the gameplay looks smooth, it looks like it's fine, but realistically, PS5 and an Xbox Series X will run the game at better performance than something like a PC. In general, the reason this is because the developers have a hard time making stuff for PC because there are so many different types of configurations, so many different bottlenecks, so many things to consider, so many CPUs, so many GPUs. Really, you just kind of have to give a general understanding, and that's where the minimum spec and things came into play. It has been the case recently that every time a new game is announced, I don't go, hey, a new game is announced, I wonder if that's going to be any fun. That's what used to happen. That's how I used to see any new game that released. I'd be like, hey, new game's released. Every single game that releases, I go down and I look at the specs. That shouldn't be my first thought, I think. I shouldn't instantly think, hey, a new game's released, can I run it? It should be, hey, a new game's released, is it any fun? It's crazy to me to look at a game that's come out recently, Dragon Ball Z Sparkling Zero. I literally went to it and went, I should be able to run this on really anything. And then I scroll down and see the recommended specs and go, this is a cel-shaded game! Okay, quick editor note. I may have exaggerated this a little bit. The minimum specs are pretty good, and it generally seems pretty optimized. So I just kind of left this in here because I thought that it's funny. So, I, in my honest opinion, think this has all started and been caused by one thing, and that is Elden Ring has caused this whole thing. And you might be like, oh, how has Elden Ring caused it? When Elden Ring was announced, it was like, oh my god, this thing actually exists. People were going hype. I was hyped. At the time, I had my old build. I had 8GB of RAM, an i7-2600, and a GTX 1060. Yes, it was an old build, but it got me through the day. It got me through, you know, most of my college and my university, and I wasn't really complaining. But I needed to, you know, modernize my build a bit, because Elden Ring was a big blow in the face of, hey, you need 16 gigs of RAM now. And people took to the internet to, you know, complain and say, hey, how come I need 16 gigs of RAM? This is obscene. Nobody asked for 16 gigs of RAM. But really, if you think about it, with the kind of game Elden Ring is, it's kind of amazing that it was so well optimized. Well, not on release, but, you know, a little later. The reason I'm making this whole video is because I saw the Monster Hunter spec, and I saw it needed frame gen to hit 60. Now, they are making the game for 3 different consoles. Obviously, the Series X and the PS5 are probably going to be a lot easier to develop for because there isn't so many different iterations of them. There was just one. And it will also be the case that developing for PC is a long time. When Monster Hunter World came out, we had a year between the console release and the PC release. I think, in my non-professional opinion, this gave the developers enough time to go, look back, work on it, and put most of their efforts into possibly, you know, developing Rise, but also have the team developing the port and making it the best port it could be so that as many people could enjoy it. Monster Hunter's been a game for a long time where it felt like, to me, it was a great experience to go up to someone and say, hey, have you played Monster Hunter? Oh, no? Hey, it's on the 3DS. You don't want a 3DS? It's on PC. You want a PC? It's now on Switch. It was such an accessible game for anybody who wanted. Molita's situation was on a Switch. It made it so as many people as I wanted could access the game because most people owned a Switch. It was a pretty common device and it's one of the most selling devices at the moment. And it meant that people who had never touched a Monster Hunter game fell in love with a Monster Hunter game. And that's the main issue I have here. I think Monster Hunter, at its core, is a cooperative experience. It kind of feels like them making this such high fidelity and so hard to run kind of deters a lot of people from, like, well, not wanting to play it, can't play it. And it sucks because it's a game that is so fun to experience with other people. When World came out, there were so many people on that and it became such a big thing and everybody enjoyed it. I love Monster Hunter 4U, and that was for the 3DS, and it looks like that. So, I mean, Monster Hunter was never a game that really cared much about the fidelity and graphics. It was just about killing monsters and, you know, making cool armor and dressing up your cat. That's what Monster Hunter was. This isn't just the case with Monster Hunter. I think this whole thing is spiraled. Every single game that comes out, and this seems to require a lot more than I would consider the norm. And most people I know don't own an RTX 2080 or above. And really, it kind of sucks that a lot of these games are releasing with things like that. If you're a console player, it's generally okay. If you have the newer next generation consoles, a lot of the things are compatible. But I know a lot of people who are in developed countries who only have one PC and they you know, they love games like Monster Hunter, and they won't be able to experience it because, you know, they aren't, you know, blessed or alhamdulillah like me, who has the money and capability to go out and buy a £300 graphics card. Really, the biggest thing to consider is crunch. Noodle, the animator, made a great video on that. If you want to watch it, I'll link it. But essentially what it is the developers don't have enough time or salary, or really their quality of living is so bad and poor. But because the game industry is so brutal, and as soon as one game developer leaves, they can just as easily get a new game developer to just take their place, because it's such a competitive market. It makes it so that games are being rushed into an unfinished state and then released because of deadlines that the managers create and the upper management creates, that the developers can't seem to meet because it's really impossible. There's been so many cases where you've heard of like developers sleeping in their offices, you know, working on the games overnight, not having a good work-life balance, and it's just how the video game industry is at the moment. Another thing to consider, just quick side out, is there's been so many layoffs recently, also in like tech and video game industry. Recently, Riot has had 2 waves of layoffs, and Bungie just invested loads in a new studio and then had a ton of layoffs. So I really just want games to be accessible to anyone. And having the highest fidelity and the highest graphics and looking incredible doesn't need to be the case. But a game like Warhammer 40k, the new one that's just released, that is a game where when I look at the spec sheet, I was genuinely amazed by how much they were able to put in the game and how low the hardware requirements actually were. If you look at videos online, my old GTX 1060 could run this game at low and get a very stable frame rate. It's pretty incredible that you don't even need FSR to get this game running stably. And there's so much going on screen, there's so much stuff, and it looks great, and I gotta play this game. These days, it's not really about how high are the graphics, it's how low has it been optimized, how much time has the developer had to optimize their game, it feels like. Again, I'm not a professional, I don't know how game development works, but from an outside perspective, this is how it looks. Back in the day, it felt like GPU life cycles lasted a long time. It felt like 1060 could allow me to play every single game on the market for about 5-6 years. I don't think my RTX 4060 is going to last 6 years. Studios won't be making games optimized for the user. They will be hitting tighter and tighter deadlines and just expect the user to have the hardware capable of being able to play those games at higher frame rates. That shouldn't be the case. I mean, if you looked at Star Wars Outlaws recently, everybody has been talking about the performance issues and the issues with the bugs, and they just threw that out there. They knew that it was an unfinished product, but they just put it out there. Cyberpunk was infamous for being a not unfinished product and them just releasing it because the deadlines were so short and the people didn't have and the developers didn't have enough time to work on the game in the fashion they wanted to. That's where indie studios come in. It feels like, in my head, indie games are the way forward. When I see an indie game, I get excited. This Gamescom, the one that just went by, the game I am most excited for, the whole of Gamescom, besides Monster Hunter, is Killer Bee. Yeah, that one animation that one guy made ages ago, and then that guy made like a live dancing video to it. It was great. I loved Killer Bee, and I thought it was really funny. A great video, you know. And they're making a sick game to it. You can do stuff with a grenade, and you can drive cars and stuff. It looks amazing. And it doesn't need high fidelity. It probably will run great, and I'll probably have a great time playing it. Games don't need these high fidelities and these excessive graphics to be fun. And I get it adds a lot to the gaming experience if they do have these things. But if it takes away from the fact that I can play these games with my friends, then I would rather have a PS2 looking game with the quality of life of a modern day title that I can play with my friends. Why do you think things like Lethal Company did so well?
Bro! It's after me! Watch out! Watch out! Oh my god! I lived! Oh, who didn't live?
Among Us was a huge thing. You could play on your phone and everybody had access to it. It was great because it was so accessible for so many people. Games these days don't need high fidelity and high graphics. We know with the capabilities of a lot of these games, and showing it off is great. I genuinely think, in my personal opinion, the game is cooperative. Try and make it so that the most people possible can play that game, because a cooperative experience like Monster Hunter should have as many people possible playing it. On the other hand, there is that sense of wanting to drive the game development in the game industry further, especially in terms of graphics and technical details. In that scenario, single player games are the way to go. People love Red Dead, and Red Dead is an incredible looking game. And I don't mind that it's high graphics settings, because I know how good of a game it is, and I know that when I want to play it, I will have the capabilities and experience to go back, and I won't have a unique experience in Red Dead, in the sense of the storyline will be kind of the same regardless of when or how I play it. Cooperative experience only lasts a finite amount of time, so it means that if I can't experience it with the people I want to experience it with, who am I going to experience it with? It means that I won't play these games because they are too difficult to run for me and other people I want to experience it with. Because it's a single player experience, because it's something that I know I could watch somebody else play, it doesn't really get to me as much as something like Monster Hunter, where I know that I won't be able to play this game with some of my friends because I know they can't run it. I know they have GTX 1050s, and I know that they have like 1060s and things, and it sucks. I am not saying that I want Monster Hunter to run on older graphics. I'm not saying that. It's a pretty game, and they have done some crazy things with the loading and everything being one seamless world and everything working cohesively together. I don't want it to run on a GT 710, and I don't want it to even run on the 10 series. It doesn't need to run on the 10 series. The fact that it does is good. What I wanted was that spec sheet to say 1080p 60 frames per second. No frame gen. Why do I need to enable frame gen? It doesn't seem right in my opinion. If the game came out in 2060 and had to be delayed by another year, I wouldn't mind, as long as I had that better experience and ability to play it with more people, and I would just be happy. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at here. I get making games look pretty. I get the idea of like pushing the boundary and making things better, and Final Fantasy X on the PS2 looked incredible for when it came out. But when it comes to co-op experiences, I don't need the highest graphics, I don't need the highest fidelity. Games like The Only Way is Hustle, Your Only Move is Hustle is great because it's just a bunch of stick fighters with a turn-based combat system fighting each other, and it's so fun. I didn't ever need something like a high-end stick figure to be in the game to enjoy it. This probably will make a difference. I don't think that Capcom's going to see this and go, "Oh my god, Uzum has made a video, we got to delay our game by 10 years because he made a video." I just thought I would give my 2 cents on why I believe I am upset with the game industry as of the moment, and how I think it's going to go going forward. I think it's just going to become a thing of more and more people less and less people will be playing these AAA studio games, even if they're good, and be more inclined to play indie games. As it stands, a lot of people's favorite games could already be indie games. And with the announcement of things like AMD talking about possibly taking a backseat on higher end development of GPUs, Nvidia will then end up getting the monopoly of GPUs, and it'll kind of spiral, I think. Of course, this is just all theory, and I'm not a game theorist or anything. I'm just some guy who thinks about things sometimes, I guess. I just think if the market keeps growing the way it is, and it probably will keep growing because gaming's not going anywhere, it doesn't seem, I would rather have experiences that are less graphical focused and more fun focused, essentially. So yeah, I guess I just wanted to rant. There's no real point in this video. Probably nobody is gonna agree with a lot of the takes I have. I get an RTX 4060 isn't the best graphics card, but I paid £300 for it, man. I want to be able to play my game at 1080p 60. That's it. That's all I'm asking, man. So the video is basically over. I just wanted to put a quick note. Sorry for not uploading for a while. I've been in like a weird slump. Don't really know what to upload. Don't know what I'm going to upload next, but we'll see. And the artist for this picture, of Dark Souls picture, I will put his tag in the description. I got his permission to use the art, so please go check him out. He's actually really good, really nice guy. So yeah, thank you.